on my head. And like seriously, my story won't be complete without GPI. GPI gave me the voice, the fact that
you will agree with me that by international standard, there is no country in the world that prescribes death sentence for any offense again. Even in our own African climate, most of our laws that carries a death sentence, in the past 16 years or more in Nigeria, there is no governor that has sentenced to a death sentence by a court of law where somebody has been executed. I have not seen that. So the law is just there. You commit murder, you commit armed robbery, the court sentence you to death. You remain in the prison. Very recently, the Prison Act of 2019 now even gives the superintendent of the correctional center to recommend people who have been sentenced to death, whose appeals have not been concluded by the higher court, but who have been in their custody for 10 years for clemency. So rather than put our effort in pushing for death sentence for rape and other sexual offenses, let us put that effort into ensuring that the laws that are in place now can be enforced to the letter.
According to the recent Nigerian Demographic Health Survey 2018, 35% of women aged from 15 to 49 years in the Cross River State has experienced physical violence, and 3% of them has experienced sexual violence. Unfortunately, only 45% who have experienced sexual violence have self-help or never told anyone about this violence. It has always been said, UNFPA coordinate, deliver as one approach here in the Cross River, as it also coordinates the Spotlight initiative, thanks to which we are meeting today. As you know, UNFPA is the United Nations lead agency on reproductive health, whose mission is to deliver a world where every pregnancy is wanted, every childbirth is safe, and every young potential is fulfilled. UNFPA remains committed to the 2030 Development Agenda, ensuring particularly zero preventable maternal death, zero unmet needs for family planning, and zero gender-based violence and harmful practices, while, of course, collaborating with stakeholders. And we are proud to say the Girls Power Initiative is one of these stakeholders.
Basically, collaborating with the donor partners, UN Women, UNFPA, UNICEF, and other partners who have been concerned and involved in trying to bring this menace to the barest minimum, eradicating it. You have the gender-based violence or violence against women and girls. You have harmful practices, which includes female genital mutilation, the money marriage. These are traditional activities or practices that are inimical to the well-being of the woman and girls. Then we have the domestic violence and all that. We've done a lot of advocacy. The EU-UN team was here to do advocacy to the government. We met with the deputy governor. We have done the gender policy by government. You know, gender-based violence is not just physical violence and all that. It can be emotional, it can be psychological. You are talking about gender parity, where you have somebody qualified to hold an office and they say no, because you are a woman you cannot hold that office. That's violence against the woman. So there's gender parity policy that has been passed, signed into law in the states by the government, the governor of Senator Professor Ben Ayade. Right now we have the Violence Against People's Prohibition Act before the House of Assembly. We are believing that the law was submitted to the Assembly in the last dispensation of 2015 that ended 2019. Unfortunately, it wasn't signed into law, so it has been represented by CSOs, FIDA, including the Ministry of Women Affairs. We are going to further advocate and put pressure on government to sign it into law. And then after that, we have trained a lot of people through the intervention of UN Women on those who are focal persons, desk focal persons on gender-based violence in various MDAs like health, the Ministry of Women Affairs itself, and various other partners, judiciary, police and all. They have been trained so that they can understand the import of that law, the VAP law, that will be passed into law, and how they can educate survivors that come to them as we refer them to these various ministries that are partners with us. They will be able to educate them on what their rights are and be able to ensure that they get justice, you know, for those who are survivors, get justice. So that's how far we've gone. Government has gone. Government is also making payments to those who are volunteers in the Gender-Based Violence Response Center, which was set up by UNFPA. So we are ensuring that those people in that center are trained. They give them psychosocial services, as counseling. Right now, yesterday, we had one case of a pastor and the husband who is even a lawyer in the making. And so we are hoping that when all of these services are provided, you know, at that center, we are trying to see where we can have a police, the representative police officer. We have the medical personnel to issue these medical reports. Then we'll have a lawyer who will also be there to advise in one place. That's what the UNFPA man said. We are looking at a one-stop center where all these people will be. And then we're also proposing, government is proposing to have what you call the shelter, where the survivors, those who have faced domestic violence or rape or whatever, can be housed for some weeks, you know, or days, and taken care of, after which we'll look at how we can provide livelihood for them going forward. So that's what government is proposing in the next budget, and it is our hope that the budget will be approved and releases will be made by government to ensure that we achieve that. Those dialogue and those sensitization we are doing involves everybody, because if you don't get the other partners to be there to understand the implications of what they are doing, in case they don't know, you may not get anywhere, may not achieve results. So because of that, we are incorporating everybody into whatever we are doing and ensuring that those ones will also further pass the message that to those who were not there. So in various communities, and letting the traditional rulers know and all the other parents, guardians, to know that they need to report, they need to speak out. If you don't speak out, there's no way we can achieve results, and we'll continue to experience this. So that's basically what government is doing.
Doing a media conference to actually create more synergy with the media, as well as in terms of reporting cases of sexual and gender-based violence. Because over the years we have noticed that the media plays a very critical role in terms of creating awareness to prevent, as well as create awareness where services that survivors can access are. So for us, the media is very critical to the work that we do, and so we felt we should have these discussions with them on a very critical day like today to begin to amplify the voices of women and girls and speak around the challenges that women and girls suffer in terms of gender-based violence. You would also know that most of the reports that we had, especially during the COVID-19 lockdown, came from the media. So the media has been a very critical tool. So for us, we felt we should have the synergy, we should have the collaboration to be able to report even cases of sexual and gender-based violence that have been reported and handled in terms of litigation. The media should be able to report to a logical conclusion to say, okay, these are the number of cases that have been taken to court. This is what has happened. These are the number of cases, accused persons that have been sentenced and actually doing their sentence. Because for us, that will serve as a deterrent. It is not enough to just say a girl has been abused, a woman has been abused, so what? So, but if we get to hear that something is done about it and that the perpetrator is punished, for the act, then we will be able to move ahead and reduce the cases of sexual and gender-based violence. So basically that's why we are here. We heard the Director for Public Prosecution sharing their own experiences in terms of how they've handled the cases, as well as also their challenges and suggestions on the way forward. It got us thinking about what are we not doing right, or what have we not even done at all, or where have we achieved and we need to do more, basically in terms of the kinds of conversations that we had today.
Ever partner with any psychologist or counselor to know the reason behind why they are coming for that kind of report? Is it
Probably a junior YA or the SSC or learning